Hi everybody, TheHande here, and as you can see, this is another Sega game, and here we go. This is Bonanza Brothers. Yep, this is a game that I have reviewed as a part of the oh, they're really, oh, okay, there we go. I don't know if the options were a little wonky there. I can have up to 7 extra lives. Okay, I guess we'll go with that, and normal level sounds good. So, this is a game that I have reviewed briefly as a part of the, what I did, the Ad Games Portable Mega Drive review rundown of all the games, and yeah, I would say, I would go so far as to say that this is one of my favorite Mega Drive games. Like, maybe not like top 10 or anything like that, but it is a fairly unique title because it's a kind of a stealth. It is a kind of stealth and, you know, thievery game. You're going around the building and robbing shit. And now I'm having to wait for those guys to. Yeah, I love that. And you don't actually kill people; you just stun them. Yes, okay, that's what you want to do, is you want to knock them out with the doors. Yeah, so I thought about what I was going to talk about while also playing this game, and I thought there's a video idea that I've been talking about, maybe like doing a shitty couch vlog or something, but it's never really like, really struck my fancy so much. So now I thought, actually, let's do it while talking about this. So I want to talk about a little bit about my, my previous apartments, and this is sort of relevant because I'm probably going to have to move. Yeah, these are the green cops or the green security guards. They look a bit like leprechauns or something. Oh, that couch is in the way. Okay, I didn't realize. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I love that guy. He just falls asleep all the time. This music sounds very, very, reminds me very vividly of Snake Rattle and Roll, by the way. It's actually one of my... Which I'm not even kidding, that's actually one of my favorite NES games. That's a very early title from Rareware. And I played it as a kid. I guess every time... okay, I didn't think I was losing lives. I thought that when you get knocked out, you have to get knocked out like a few times. And I haven't failed the mission yet, but we still have time left. Okay, I gotta wait. I love the art style for this, by the way. It's very... I don't know what it reminds me a little bit of like Mad Impact, possibly. But yeah. So the first ever apartment where I lived by myself. Oh, and that's actually that's the apartment where I filmed the 10 obsolete software operating systems and. Where I talked about the first video where I really talked about like old PC crap. Yeah, these have had guys, you gotta shoot them multiple times. So, so yeah, that first apartment like was, you know, pretty nice overall. The main thing I really didn't like about it, oh yeah, but that was the one also that had the water damage. Luckily the only one, and I've gotten so fucking paranoid of water damage ever since I lived in that apartment. Like now I always just check because, you know, the way we had that water damage was that, or I had that water damage situation happen with me was because it was the you know, it was the kitchen sink and the pipe, you know, the pipe that gets rid of the water like had gone loose, and it also like revealed to me like one of the most annoying structural things about finished kitchens is that the back section of most kitchen sinks have a piece of plywood that obstructs your view of the freaking pipes, so you usually can't even see them. And I suppose it's because it's for aesthetic reasons, because a lot of people don't like seeing those pipes. But that's the only reason that for like weeks and weeks and weeks after I had the after I, you know, the pipe had come loose and it started spreading water down there. Like I only started to notice because the floorboards were getting warped. Or rather, they made a squishy sound when I stepped on them, which is, you know, wood is not supposed to make a squishy sound when you step on it. But it was on the ground floor of the building that I lived in, and I think the shittiest part about that building was oh, what happened? Oh, did he knock me out? Son of a bitch. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I gave him the slip. Yeah. The only other shitty part about that apartment was the fact that it was on the ground floor, and it didn't have a lot of parking spots. And actually, we'll come back in just a second. All right. So that first apartment, like, overall pretty nice. Oh yeah, another sink, which is the bathroom sink, but that one was like, it was just a loose filling or whatever it is that you use, the insulation or something. Oh yeah, so the thing is, like, they didn't have a lot of parking spots, and they were only for 2 hours, so that was really annoying when anybody wanted to visit me, with the fact that they couldn't have their car there for very long. Okay, I want to try this out. But so, even though you weren't supposed to, lots of people did just drive up to the building. And my apartment was like directly where the where people would like drop off their friends and stuff. So so I had to get used to that. That my bedroom window would often like light up with people. Ouch! Oh no! Oh, I got sideshow bobbed. Okay. Nah, that's pretty cruel. So yeah, that was like maybe the one annoying thing about that apartment was all the flashing. But then I lived in that apartment for mostly a year. Oh yeah, and you know, the only apartment that when I wasn't counting that as one of the ones that I'm talking about was the one-room apartment I lived in while in Scotland. I feel like I've talked about my Scottish apartment, you know, somewhere else, like. Well, I've definitely talked about the landlord that I had, who was this really nice guy called Murray Gordon. Really, really nice guy, like, really helped me out while I was in Scotland. But yeah, so all my other apartments since my little Scottish excursion have been much bigger. Oh, I ran out of time. I guess I take credits from the second player whenever I respawn, so that's, I guess. Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah, so I lived in that apartment for a little over, well, just under a year, I would say, and then I got that first really long teaching gig. So in the next apartment that I lived for a little over, yeah, I think just like a month over a year. So, and that was and that was a really big apartment. Oh no. Oh, I'm like, why does he do that? Why doesn't he just, okay, what do I have to do? Okay, now he's in position. Fuck you. Alright, so I lived in that apartment for, you know, maybe a little over a year. And the most annoying thing about that apartment was that it was all the way across the country. So it was annoying because, you know, if I wanted to go see friends or relatives, you know, they were quite a bit away from me. Beyond which, like, you know, the main thing was just the fact that it was so big. And you know, I live alone, so, you know, I don't really need that much space or anything. Oh, I had to shoot the doggo. That didn't feel nice. Okay, I gotta book it. Oh my god, yes, I just barely made it. Yeah. The other thing was that during that summer, it was very hot, and that's when I ran into the problem that I had with most of my apartments is during the summer, where I've lived during the summer months, is that when it gets hot, you obviously want, whoa! When it gets hot, you obviously want to air out the apartment, but it's very difficult to do if you have smokers living, people who smoke as your neighbors. And that has been like one of the consistent problems. It was a problem in that apartment. It was the problem in the apartment that I lived in immediately following that long period of living in that apartment for a year is that I had neighbors who smoked, and shit, yeah, exactly, shit. It definitely sounds like he's saying shit. All right, time to burn up through my last few credits here. So it was a problem in my next apartment as well. Although that apartment had another problem with, which was and that apartment, when I moved away from that town all the way across the country, my next apartment. Okay, now good, yeah. So then I moved into the apartment where I did like a lot of those couch vlogs where I did like the and actually, sorry, we're gonna have to pause it again. So that was the apartment where I did the fonts video, and oh yeah, and when I was doing the BMW reviews, that's when I was living in that particular apartment. I might have done one other like BMW review after moving out of that, but that's where I mostly, that between 2017 and 2018, that was the apartment where I lived in. But yeah, so that apartment had one of the most annoying radiators I have ever had in any of the apartments that I've lived in, because the bathroom radiator, for some reason, was always on full blast. And it was also the kind that you couldn't even like adjust. I even called like the maintenance man once, and he couldn't change it. He tried. He actually tried to change it, and he could not. And that led to a very very annoying, very uncomfortable last few months of me living in there, because then of course I moved after the summer because I got a job. And that's actually the next apartment that I lived in is actually the one that I told the story on White Devil Podcast. But yeah, so during the summer months, that apartment got really fucking hot, and again, so I was having to air it out because it didn't get hot just because of the radiator either. It was a combination of it being a very hot summer, like so hot in fact that it was just as that actually, like, even airing out the apartment wasn't much of a relief because it was just as hot outside as was indoors. But I love that apartment. It had easily my favorite layout of all, because you could see into the living room directly from the kitchen. So it was really nice when I was like when I was cooking and stuff. Like I could watch TV at the same time. Okay, well, watch YouTube, I guess is more like it, but. At least I have somewhere else to go. Like there's a thing that with some of these levels that I'm noticing that's really annoying, is that it doesn't seem like I have a lot of options of places where to go. Yeah. So so then I had to move into the apartment that the story I told about, and that was in a town called Kajani, which I have quite a bit of history with. Actually, it's really funny. That was an apartment that also was by far the one with the most expensive rent I ever had to pay, and it was definitely way bigger than any of the apartments that I had ever lived in. It was honestly a little too big, to be honest. And I'm actually right now I have a little bit of the same problem with my current apartment, is that it's a bit too big. But if you will, the one good thing is that because I have an extra room, I haven't had to do the thing what I do with almost all of my apartments, is I haven't had to actually like put my moving boxes away or anything, because I just have an extra room, so I just put them in there, and it's it's good because the current the current apartment that I live in is on the third floor anyway, so it's a lot easier to just when you don't have to move so much between like floors as much. All right, final credit. We're about done with this anyway. So after the Kajani apartment, then I moved into what is probably the tiniest apartment that I've lived in, and that was the one where I did the Windows videos and the GUI videos. And that apartment, And I'm not very demanding of space, but I did notice, like, how much more claustrophobic it kind of felt. I mean, it was a snug fit, don't get me wrong, but, like, literally I could not spend the first night in my apartment because all my moving boxes were in there. It was such a tight fit. And then I actually had to... my next apartment was in a... It was actually in basically a row of houses. It was a rental apartment in a row of houses, and which was also on the ground floor. Was not a huge fan of that, but mainly that it was pretty obvious that nobody had lived there in a bit. So the whole place was in a bit of disuse. And I gotta be honest, like I think that whole apartment got much nicer while I lived there. I've had that in a few places, like there have been a few apartments that I've lived in where I have noticeably physically improved the condition of the apartment while living there. So, which you know, especially because you know, the fact that, you know, because the most reasons that I end up moving is because I get a job, and when I have a job, you know, I get, you know, the rent doesn't actually become a huge problem. So that apartment, that expensive apartment that I ended up living in briefly as well, the reason it was expensive was because it was right in the center of town, basically. I normally that's not a requirement for me. It mostly has to do with where is it easiest for me to get to my job. Like that has way more to do with the in regards to the location of where I end up moving. Although that apartment, I will say, was like a building that was made in the 60s, so I was a bit leery of like the electrical connections in that. But yeah, and you know, that's when I bought a whole bunch of like surge protectors as well. I never ended up having a big power outage or anything, so in the end, that was a bit paranoia on my part. But you know, better safe than sorry, I guess. Oh yeah, I'm on a yacht. I'm on a boat. I was wondering, like, why are there all these chefs around? Oh no. Oh no, I gotta. This is it. All right, but I think we're about done with this in a second. I'm just trying to. Oh, the exit's all the way over there. Okay, I got quite a way to go. So then the previous apartment that I lived in prior to this, I think again my only gripe really was with the bathroom, because the bathroom only had one light, which was a fluorescent tube. Oh, you failed that. So we failed that. And the bathroom, I think it had the dark. I honestly think it might have the darkest bathroom that I ever had, because literally the only other light source was that it had a little sauna, like not a big one, like a tiny, like a boxed one. Because, you know, in Finland we have, you know, saunas are, you know, pretty common. Although, only 3 of my apartments that I have lived in actually had saunas. Like, I usually have made do with just having a shower. Because, you know, it's not and, you know, even those apartments that didn't have it in the apartment, like, had a communal sauna, so I could have gotten, like, a time slot that I could use the sauna when I felt like. But, yeah, let's be honest, like, that... The fact that I would have to share the sauna with other people doesn't sound particularly attractive to me, so that's why I just make do with. I just then go to sauna whenever I visit my relatives or something. Like, you know, it's not a necessity. It's nice. I like it, and whenever I do have a sauna in my apartment, like I have of course made use of it, but it's not an absolute must. So, you know, I can live without it as well. All right, let's see if I can actually beat this this level. I doubt I will. Oh no, yeah, I think I screwed up already. So it's not like, and I will say though, the worst sauna that I've ever had was the one in my last apartment, because that little box sauna, it just gets so damn hot so damn quickly. Like, you're basically in and out of it. You don't really have time to enjoy it, which is kind of missing the whole point of even having a sauna in the first place. Like, it's supposed to be, as much as it is for washing up, it is also kind of, you know, for enjoyment purposes as well. Oh yeah, and the row of houses apartment also had a sauna, and then my first apartment had a sauna The one that I had to move away, very far away for, did not. And that is the end of that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little rambly video. I'm TheHande, and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.